National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, it says that the sum of 3 trillion naira is required to continue paying for the fuel subsidy, which was recently extended for 18 months. Now, according to the minister, the federal government will have to make an incremental provision of 2.557 trillion naira in order to meet subsidy requirements, which is currently on average of about 270 billion naira per month. The finance minister further disclosed that only 443 billion naira is presently available in the 2022 budget, meant to accommodate subsidy from January to June. So this is the crux of our discussion next. So joining me in the studio is Oil and Gas Analyst, Comrade Bala Zakka. Good morning and good to see you.
Thank you.
Great. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to this debate on subsidy removal, no, we will not remove it. No, it will cause hardship. No, it will not cause hardship. Oh, it's for the good of the nation. No, it's for the national good. Whatever the thing is,
yes,
we've been on this for
ages.
4, 5, maybe 3, 4 decades or something.
Correct.
Now. And it seems we have run out of ideas as a people. I don't know of how to handle this thing and handle. Nigeria is not the only country with oil.
Correct.
But the way the thing goes, it confuses the average person. You are in the industry. In fact, I see you came into the studio today with a textbook
to prove a simple point how elementary this thing is.
Why has the idea of how to handle subsidy and let the oil flow and let it benefit everybody, why has it eluded us? Let me start.
The thing is very simple, but we can also start by asking simple questions, right? If China is refining and has state-owned refineries, Saudi Arabia has state-owned refineries. Even with the trouble in Libya, Libya has state-owned refineries. Qatar has, Iran has, Brazil has, Malaysia has state-owned refineries. Even countries that do not have crude oil have state-owned refineries. But Nigeria does not have functional state-owned refineries. Are we saying all those countries and their leaders are fools? And if they are not fools, who is the fool here? It's a very simple question. You know, we've been, it's a shame really, and you cannot believe it. As far as I am concerned, refining technology is elementary chemistry. That was why I came with this book. This is a chemistry textbook by Nigerians.
For secondary school?
For secondary school.
All right.
I am waiting for that professor or that experienced process engineer or petroleum engineer or mechanical engineer or chemical engineer to come here to your studio and challenge me and say refining technology is not elementary chemistry.
Rocket science.
Another point I want to let you know is this. As far as I'm concerned, heart transplant, kidney surgery or transplant, in fact even cesarean section, giving birth to a baby, as far as I'm concerned, and let anybody challenge me, is 10 times more complicated than
the refining of oil, petrol.
Because when you talk about heart transplant, kidney transplant, cesarean or whatever, if you make the slightest mistake,
that's the end.
The person cross to the other side. He graduates into immortality. But for refining, it's just simple mechanical things.
All right.
Very elementary.
All right. Now, take us through this process that seemed to be so, humongous that, you have to sit down to imagine whether it works like God somewhere sitting down with white beards or something.
Yes.
That kind of an imagination where only those who are in understand what goes on. So, pass us through this. You say it's elementary chemistry.
Basic chemistry.
So let's know what's really goes on.
If you get a very good SS1 student, he will tell you everything.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just telling you. But you see, it's very simple. First of all, we have the crude oil here. All we even need to do is to get the crude oil from the wellheads within Nigeria in Naira. Move them to the respective refineries in Naira. Refine them in Naira, distribute them to consumers in Naira, save our Naira. What that does to you is it will free you from exchange rate pressures. Everything FX is cut off, and that's how organized countries do. All these countries I mentioned. And the principle of refining is very, very simple. All you need is you get the crude oil, right? It works based on a principle we call temperature differential. You have a distillation column and fractionating towers. It divides them into fractions. At a given temperature, cooking gas will come out, LPG. Another temperature, petrol will come out, diesel, go your way. Kerosene, move to that way. That's it. It's as elementary as that. But you see, a lot of people don't know. And this thing is so straightforward. But I'm beginning to feel terrible. Unfortunately, I'm not into politics. I've never attempted, I'm still not a politician. But I have said, because of all this argument, if I were to be in politics and a member of National Assembly, honestly, I will turn the chambers upside down. The worst that will happen is you get me suspended, or you fire me, or you tell my constituency to recall me. If you make me a minister because of this, I will throw my resignation paper at whoever is my principal. And that takes me to this simple thing I want to say. I am suspecting that many of the technocrats that are brought to be personal assistants and whatever are not principled. They are not organized. They are deceiving. They are deceiving their principals, because this thing is very simple. All you need is to let these people know. And if they were not deceiving, look at what happened to the petroleum industry bill. If you remember, some of us were against the president assenting. In fact, people like me were personally praying that he shouldn't assent to it.
Why is that?
Okay,
because everyone has said the petroleum industry bill at that time, which is now Petroleum Industry Act, was going to be that magic wand.
It was a deception. It was a smoke screen. They were expert. Look, oil and gas engineers, oil and gas economists, oil and gas lawyers, oil and gas environmentalists, oil and gas journalists like you were supposed to be congregated in one place to agree, even before you come up with that. But when they did it, what have we seen? From that time to now, let those technocrats that concocted the PIB into a PIA, let them show me one investor that has come. Investors are not coming. Is that not telling you something? Maybe they will say it has just been passed. No, so everyone is trying to study to see how. Investors are not coming. It's a lie. Let them come and show me. It's just like the way we're talking. Okay, let's keep that one aside. As I speak to you today, the price of crude oil is above $80 per barrel. Of course, the benchmarkers or the markers are West Texas Intermediate, WTI, and the Brent crude. The Brent crude is the marker for our Nigerian Bonny Light. It is above $80 per barrel. But as I speak to you now, Nigeria is not producing up to her OPEC quota. Nigeria cannot produce. We have less than, quote me, everything I tell you, quote me. Bring anybody to challenge me. Nigeria has less than 10 active drilling rigs. By the time you look at rigs on the land location, swamp, shallow waters, and deep offshore, and if you have less than 10, how can you produce? I will expect ordinary, let me tell you, I will expect ordinary that with the price going up now, Nigeria should be able to meet up with her OPEC quota and also be begging OPEC to give her more quota so that she can generate revenue and bridge the budget deficit gaps. Then we also have another product called condensate. Condensate is not even being touched by OPEC. And condensate is a species of gas such that when at a given pressure, if you hold the pressure and the temperature comes down, it shrinks and becomes oil. Enough for us to scoop. So those technocrats that are saying this and that and are talking anyhow, ask them, why are we not even producing to meet up with OPEC quotas? These are the simple things people will need to know. It's so shameful. I hear people saying, okay, the reason is sometimes that there is smuggling. Too elementary, too shameful, that there is smuggling to the neighboring countries.
Yeah, but isn't there smuggling?
No, the smuggling is not up to 0.0001%. Let me tell you this. So you are telling me, if you want to eat in your house, the quality of food in your house will be determined by the quality of food in another person's house. So as we are as Nigerians, if the price of petrol is high in neighboring countries, we must up our own to punish our citizens to equilibrate it. Is that the way other countries behave?
It doesn't make economic sense.
It doesn't make economic sense. And there is something again, when you look at all these things, it's so absurd. is so absurd. Another thing again, I hear people saying, oh, and let me tell you, even when they say the smuggling, the reason why the quantity is high now of petrol is because of this corona, many people now work at home, including some of your staff. If you go, there are computers, people work now. They are involved in all kinds of online activities, and there is no light. So the only thing they can resort to is what? Petrol or generators. That's the thing people don't understand, and people have forgotten that Nigeria is a country of 200 million citizens. You have strategic industrial sectors, strategic domestic sectors, and strategic commercial sectors relying on less than 10,000 megawatts of electricity. Look at the ratio. Why wouldn't people look for other ways to survive? Before I came here, when your driver was bringing me here, you will see everywhere looking lit. All those houses are running on generators. How do you expect people to survive? I hear people saying diesel was deregulated and nobody is complaining. That is the most deceit of this century.
Why is that?
It's very simple. Go to the back of this your studio as we speak now. I won't be surprised if you see not less than 4 or 5 generators. All those generators are running on diesel. Go to the hospitals, go to the hotels, go to everywhere. Go to the factories, go just to the back. All those places I mentioned are running on diesel. And diesel as at yesterday was 360 naira to a liter. How do you expect people to break even? It's a common sense. And when I hear people saying we cannot, even, let me tell you, people don't even first of all understand what subsidy is all about. Subsidy is a globally accepted economic pain cushioning concept. In other words, if subsidy is not working in Nigeria, that cannot invalidate the global definition and concept. Even our security is being subsidized. And let me give you a practical example, because let's assume that we don't have Navy, Civil Defense, Army, and the rest. Some of us can still provide our security. So what government is doing now to help us equilibrate things so that there will be no rascality is they provided soldiers, army, civil defense, and that's how subsidy works. So it's the same thing with the oil and gas industry and the energy.
But the point there is,
ask me any question.
But if you're talking about the issue of security you just mentioned, because if we leave it to individuals, we'll be going back to the state of nature. Where life was British and life was...
But that was why we are talking about even the government.
So let's come back to this issue of subsidy. The point there is, from the economic perspective, like you said, is a cushioning effect.
Yes.
And how long should this effect be cushioned? Because if we have economic forces that are supposed to work...
Let me answer you. When you're talking about cushioning, it is here now you differentiate between private investors and government. Investors, private investors, are after profit maximization and cost minimization. Government is supposed to provide goods and services that will make citizens, whether individual or corporate citizens, to embark on activities that will lead to the aggregate growth of the economy. These are the things. So when I hear some people even saying, everybody is hoping Dangote will come. Dangote. Do you know that what is happening? It's strange enough. When people go to their churches, their mosque, their prayer, out of 100% of their prayers now, 95% is, please, oh God, help us. Let Dangote not get upset. If people go to the toilet, they are praying for Dangote. I don't have a problem with Dangote. But what you need to understand is this. Dangote remains a private initiative. He's after profit maximization. Government is on a different thing. But as Nigerians, I will be happy for us to have many Dangotes. And this is the way government helps many Dangotes. You know, Nigeria is supposed to be the continental hub for Africa in technology, in engineering, in medicine, in journalism. Nigeria is actually supposed to be the hub, because Africa is looking up to Nigeria to provide the leadership. So if you have many Dangotes, This is the way government encourages them.
But how much of a game changer will the Dangote refineries bring into all of this?
Zero.
Why
and the answer is Dangote
because the refinery is said to be one of the biggest across the world.
I will answer you straight away. Okay. Dangote is a private initiative. It's the money of people and his partners. Government is different. What if you have many Dangotes? What government will do now, because they are Nigerians and they will be paying their taxes here, and we are within the West African sub-region. First of all, government will give them tax holidays, then help them maybe and collaborate with them, maybe construct rail lines across the West African coast. Before you know, all the supplies, petrol, diesel, fertilizer will be coming from Nigeria across the West African coast. And before you know what's happening, Nigerians will be those manning the depots. And let me give you a practical example that will make all this noise about Dangote to become rubbish. If you go to a place like the US, Donald Trump is a millionaire. Bill Gates is a millionaire. Warren Buffett, Mike Zuckerberg. Have you ever seen government officials going to Bill Gates, gathering themselves to Bill Gates and say, Bill Gates, we came to greet you because you will help us and bail our country from computer technology? No, you don't do that. But don't dare touch any American company or citizen that is civic or civically and corporately responsible to the American government. American government will come on you. That is how you deal with private investors that came up with initiative to help you. And the Dangote refinery you are talking, because he's a private investor, he will buy crude oil at the international price. And he's supposed to sell it at the international price. But one unfortunate deception is this. I hear people saying, even if we have local refineries, the state oil refineries will buy crude oil at international price, and that is the insane thinking by technocrats or whoever is deceiving our governments.
Before we go, talk to us about the issue of modular refineries, that the initiative that was supposed to help cushion part of the effect that you were talking about.
Okay, fine. Modular refineries, in the first place, in the context of Nigeria now, people, and I also had those lies that modular refineries will come and reduce the petrol shortages and everything. First of all, modular refineries do not produce petrol. That's another deception. But Nigerians think the modular refineries produce petrol. They don't produce petrol because they are not equipped with what we call catalytic cracking units. That's one. And many people don't know.
So what are they meant to do?
So what modular refineries only produce diesel. I've also had people saying, all those people doing illegal refineries, why not make them become... No! What you see, like what Wike was showing that day, those are toxification plants, equipment. They are carcinogenic material. They are pollution plants. For you to have what is called a refinery, you must apply and get license to establish, license to construct, then license to operate. So you must have all those things. If you don't have, then your refinery can be classified as illegal. But the people we have, first of all, they gather drums, then they go to the pipeline and steal somebody else's product. The pipelines they break into, the crude oil there or gas belongs to an investor. So first of all, those guys are thieves. Then what they are using are not illegal refineries, because you must have a refinery. If you don't operate it in line with the laws of the country or policies, then that's when it becomes illegal refinery. But they are first of all pollution plants.
I see.
And that is why material.
And that is why the government is coming hard against them. And because sometimes when they produce this toxic things you talk about, they inject it into the system.
The first thing that does is it goes, percolates, destroy what we call freshwater aquifers. The ones that gets to the land it biodegrades the land. The ones that get to the waters destroy aquatic life. Then the ones that get up come down as carbonic rain and kill people. That's true.
That's what we see all the
suits all over. They are pollution materials. They are not refineries.
But Comrade Bala Zakka, we have so much to talk about, but we have spent more than 20 minutes talking. Now it looks like we just spent 5 minutes.
We're just warming up, really.
But we have to leave you here now.
No worries.
Thank you for taking us through all of those, and we'll spend more time as we get along to see how we can simplify some of these things to people. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great.